And in this sort of process, it can get a little stressful, but I'm pretty optimistic. I feel like I'm still trying my best. Like, I will never quit on Liquid. I'll always just keep giving my energy into Liquid, and eventually one of these changes, one of these differences will be the big key.
Welcome back to week 2 of the NALCS Summer Split. The teams are gearing up for round 2 of Team Liquid versus Team EnVy. And Matt, you're going to have to put that mentality to the test.
He's an optimist. I mean, I'd love that guy to be the spokesperson for NA at international events, because all the time you can continue to be happy about this. But it didn't look good for Team Liquid in that first game, and they're going to have to keep iterating here. They're keeping Golden Glue in for game number 2, keeping him for the series. I like his champ pool matchup against EnVy. But I do want to talk about EnVy, because they look good in that game. Pyrion in particular, that was the change that EnVy made in the offseason. Ninja gone, Pyrion was on P1's bench last year, comes in. They even signed a mid laner behind him in Niski, who many think could be the intended starter, but he's just not quite eligible to play yet. But if Pyrion keeps playing like this, he's going to be the starter for the rest of the split.
And I mean, he's looked great. I mean, we sound like very broken records at this point, but his Talia, very, very good in what, he's able to do on the champion. He's very skilled on it, but also what it allows EnVy to do. So I feel like at some point you got to be like, all right, time to test this guy. Let's just ban out a bunch of mid laners and see what happens.
Yeah, it could very well be. I mean, so much has been focused on Lyra because he was the first player who's been on a last place team to make it to first team all NALCS in his position, and his jungling has been consistently good. Last game, he actually wasn't that great. He wasn't the reason that they won. I think it was a lot to do with Seraph's teleports, as well as Pyrion and Apollo's play in teamfights, and Lyra was just kind of there. Maybe that is something that happens when you're up against Reignover, who has been a former MVP in this league, but it is the whole EnVy team playing together that has been the big story.
And that showed in that game 1 there as well. Consistently teeping in well with Seraph, playing around all 3 of the lanes that they were able to get pressure in, starting fights, doing objectives well. Kind of everything fell into place there for EnVy. And it's a comp, honestly, that they ran. We've seen from them quite a number of times, but honestly relatively unique. Like, you don't tend to play Caitlyn without a true tank that often, but EnVy actually do it quite a lot, and they've been successful with it, even if these are champions that almost everyone is playing as well.
Yeah, it's true. And I do actually want to talk a little bit about Jarvan right now, because I heard Zyrene talking about it on the analyst desk as well. I think he does kind of slot in the tank role in the way he's played in a lot of these games. It's definitely not the same of sitting in front and not allowing anyone to get past you, but once you get that Gargoyle Stoneplate, it gives you enough temporary tankiness after you've dove in. With your Black Cleaver, Titanic Hydra, you're actually stacking up a large amount of health with the W max on the Jarvan. So I think in a lot of ways he does play like a tank, and that fits perfectly for someone like Seraph, who doesn't really like playing tanks. It doesn't seem like it's his style. He needs to have that kill threat. And Jarvan currently is a champion that can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone in that situation. So Shen and Jarvan, I think, both fit very well for this team.
Yeah, I was going to say, we keep finding tanks that aren't really tanks for Seraph to play. Seems like J4 and Shen are slotting in nicely, and even ban Shen away on their side in game number 1. We'll be up to champ select pretty shortly, so we'll see what the teams have in store for game number 2. Also from the analyst desk, we did hear that draft wasn't necessarily the problem there for Liquid. I think everything looked good for them. So again, reset mentally and kind of go forward from it. And that's going to be the big thing for me for Liquid, almost until they pick up a win, I think. Because it feels like their worst enemy so much of the time seems like themselves.
Yeah.
Because we know these players are good. Like, Piglet's amazing, but he didn't show up in that game.
Yeah, I think Piglet has been amazing in the past and shows glimpses of being very good, but he has had a lot of huge underperformances, and I want to see the growth from him. I mean, I highly disagree with him being 4 kills up, Hurricane, Essence Reaver, and then going with Blade of the Ruined King instead of Infinity Edge when they're in a composition designed around him hypergearing. You have to go for the high damage item right there, and they fell off kind of right after that. Inconsistency, communication, all these things have been huge problems for Team Liquid.
Well, ceiling is there, but can they live up to it? Liquid will show us a little more here in this next draft. They're on the blue side here for game 2, and Elise Sin is their first ban of choice. EnVy decided to ban away Elise. There's Fiora joining the pack for Liquid, so very early ban away on that one. It looks like a first pick Galio is in the cards.
Very well could be. I mean, it's a powerful pick, but it's not something Lorlo had a very large influence over the game on. EnVy also the ones to ban away the Shen. Do not want that first pick Elise, and they're targeting Seraph.
They're apparently just like after all the top laners right now, as Jace joins the litter there as well. Shen banned by EnVy. Maybe Zach gets banned here for EnVy, but maybe they're just like, not that afraid of it. Maybe we leave it up. It's been left up a couple of times, once against EnVy actually, which unfortunately they played to a loss.
Yeah, and I mean, with the Fiora band, it would open you up to have the ability to first pick a Galio if you want to, but if you're going to do that, you have to actually play around it. They're going totally different. Cannon unbanned, one of the most banned champions in the North American LCS, and not one of the winningest when it does get picked.
No,
but definitely has a lot of strengths.
Certainly in the top lane, we did see Sneaky on it in the bot lane recently, but I believe that's his only showing there. And we'll see what EnVy want to answer with here. Again, we've seen a lot of similar looking compositions by them. Looks like they're going to stick to exactly what they know. This is Hakuo's nth game on Karma this split. Although this will be a nice change if they do want to go for it here. Caitlyn is still up, but for whatever reason, EnVy are at least entertaining the Lucian, throwing it to Team Liquid.
They're teasing the Lucian right now. We've seen Lucian actually played into Kennen top lane as well, not to mention you technically be able to flex it in the mid lane or the bottom lane. What are they doing with these hovers? Whoa!
Alright, so this is actually something that Seraph's played quite a lot of.
Yeah.
Renekton into Kennen can be good if you can get on top of Kennen for all of the kiting, for all of the stuns that Kennen dishes out. Turns out when you all in him, he dies pretty quickly, which we even saw in the earlier games with lots of jungle attention. Liquid, though, answer with Rakan and Xayah once more. So the run back on that comp, and Apollo's like, gimme, 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 Caitlyn.
Yeah, and in 2017, as you mentioned, Renekton is Seraph's most played champion. So high level of comfort. It's another one of those champions that can be a frontline, doesn't have the same tank tools as other tanks, but will still have a lot of kill pressure. So it's his type of bruiser champion right there. I think it's going to be a tough matchup into Kennen, though.
Certainly could be tough, and I think junglers will, as always, play a pivotal role in how that goes. So Rengar's going to get banned by EnVy, taking that jungler away. Lyra's got a lot of options left, though, and Talia's going to get banned. So there's one up against Pyrian. Do they make it two and take the Ahri down as well? Because if they don't, I'm going to predict that they'll pick Ahri in phase 2.
Yeah, I also think there's an outside chance we see Malzahar from Pyrian. It was one of his picks back when he was in the LCS in 2016. Did receive some buffs to the mid lane, I would say, although more changes overall. A lot of things happened to the Voidlings and the timing on some of his spells.
I've been banned by
Glue does not look great right now.
No, he's looking pretty worn out, honestly, after only one game. So there's Cassiopeia banned as well, actually taking both the pick that Pyrian played and then the common counter to it, which Golden Glue did play in the last game. Looks like they're going to save mid for last pick, though, so my Ahri prediction is wrong. That's pretty likely that Golden Glue is now going to take it as a result, and Pyrian might have to show us something new. But this Nidalee from Lyra is something we've seen, and he's kind of the only player still really impressing on it, but he does look good.
Yeah, he's super good at it. He applies a lot of early pressure and is deadly accurate with those spears early. I think Olaf is a good pick against it. They can still Galio. This,
all right.
You're telegraphing it, though. You're saying Galio mid lane.
Yep.
So he's not going to have very much kill threat on whatever you throw in against him.
I really wonder if they were afraid of Fiora mid, by the way. Like, I'm just wondering if they had this plan the whole time. Anyway, we'll have to find out. But Galio mid, I mean, if we had the last comp that really protected the strong carries here for Liquid, this comp maybe does it even more. So with Pyrian, back on Ahri.
The Ahri, the other pick that he's actually looked pretty good on this split. I mean, very early on, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Ahri had very minor nerfs in this most recent 7-11 patch, so not as strong, but still highly pickable. It is something Pyrian is 2-0 on early on in the split so far, and I mean this is a win lane team composition for EnVy with a lot of flanking and chaos in team fights. And quite honestly, if Team Liquid, even though they do have the split push threat, just play the team fights with the Galio and the Xayah Rakan duo, they should be all right.
Certainly should be, but we'll have to see how these lane matchups go. Lolo's going to need to have a big split push performance. We've seen his Fiora before, now going to have to bring that element of his play to Kennen in this particular game. Like you said, for EnVy, this I feel like they've run this comp and many variations almost every single game when available. I mean, Hakuo, I'm going to have to look up the stat later. He has played like an ungodly amount of Karma games this split.
Yeah, absolutely. This is basically EnVy saying, we like these champions. We are going to play these champions, and the team composition will kind of fit, but not really. I don't actually think there's any amazing synergies on this team composition or any great team fighting. And these are the types of team compositions you pick when you are ungodly confident that your opponent will not execute theirs. So Team EnVy just looking like they're going to try and outskill and punish the fact that Team Liquid have yet to pick up a game win this split and do not look like they can play well as a team.
EnVy, to their credit, do stitch together some pretty fun stuff despite the competitions maybe not looking as good on paper. Liquid, though, just going to have to dig deep and rattle off 2 straight wins. They would like to pick their first win of the summer up. It's been a tough one so far. We talked about mentality. Saw Golden Glue earlier. Not look particularly healthy, but you have to push that all out of mind and just play the game you know. Because like we've heard time and time again, Golden Glue is an excellent player. In practice, he looks amazing. So he's just got to find it in himself to kind of basically not get tilted.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he's accomplished that in this series. We mentioned he had a good start in the laning phase in Game 1, invaded the jungle of EnVy, ended up dying to the collapse, and then our question was, will he be able to avoid his stage nerves here? Didn't pick up a kill for the rest of the game, had no impact, and was not able to bounce back from that moment, and you don't have very long in between games to bounce back like that.
No, and like even just stat-wise, it even felt like the way he was playing was just completely defensive once again. So we'll see if Liquid can right the ship or if EnVy are going to pick up yet another win. And thank you for stats for letting me know that Hakuo has played 5 games of Karma. This is the 5th. He's 4-0. So looking to push that to a continued undefeated streak on the pick. This split only.
Yeah, it's not like we've played many games.
I mean, no, but it's still pretty impressive.
1-2, 2-1, 2-0, and now 1-0 in this. So that's not many games when you sum it all together.
Well,
oh man, a lot of karma.
Yes, he's played so much karma. As a percentage of his games played, it's been a lot. But we'll see what happens here around the blue buff. Looks like Lyra's going to start there with a bit of help from the duo lane. Rainova gets a look in by Seraph, I think, actually, as Lola's meeting the wave instantly to try and get that shoved away. Lyra certainly can make up some creative paths here. He's already on the lookout over the back of the Dragon Wall.
Ooh, did get spotted out by a ward, though. So good scouting right there by Team Liquid. They may have paid some close attention to his Nidalee beforehand. Doesn't look like they're going to collapse, though. Nidalee's still pretty formidable early on. This should at least tell Rainover to go take the enemy red. Empyrean's on that, too.
Excellent response there from Empyrean. Has a ward down to spot the potential invade onto their red side of the jungle. And Lyra might just take it all here if he thinks Rainova isn't going back into this path. He's going to wait for now.
Yeah, well, Lyra needs to make a quick decision right now because they have the ward, so he's wondering exactly what happened. He gets warded out, so he's got to be pretty careful. He wants to take the little ones. That's where most of the experience is.
Gonna get him. Gonna get 3 of them, in fact. And move his way back towards the mid lane. Good job on Golden Glue there for warding and pushing. And now Rainova has been spotted by that ward that Pyrian put down, but I'm not sure Lyra is able to contest, and instead we'll just have a trade.
Yeah, mainly because Lyra was spotted out and is still level 2 because he couldn't clear the Raptor camp. He does not want to run face first into a level 3 Olaf. Looks like he's going to be okay with that buff trade, but question will be, he doesn't want his Raptors to go over either, so he's trying to get a net camp advantage over Rainover.
Oh, Rainover actually onto the Krugs, maybe. That's kind of a creative little solution. As Golden Glue, real big bit of CC onto Pyrian, gets almost every bit of that combo with Galio. Chunks out that Ahri.
Rainover stealing the Krugs, which I don't think is that valuable. Krugs do not pack a lot of experience early on into the game, but they do a good amount of gold.
Maybe better than nothing.
Yep.
Seraph was getting pushed in by Lola, so it was a kind of a safe side for Rainova to be invading on as well. But Lyra going to be pretty quick through this jungle. In fact, both Olaf and Nidalee should tear through this jungle at light speed.
Yeah, both super fast farmers. In fact, when Nidalee was meta, you pretty much only wanted to pick super fast clearing junglers against her, otherwise she'd just heavily outfarm you.
Love this from Rainova though, taunt in from Golden Glue already. There's the damage down. Pyrian's going to be forced to flash dive. Is forthcoming. Rainova wants it. He's going to get it, and he picks up first blood.
Oh, the Ignite ticks him out as well. Pyrian ignited right as he died. That was so close to being exactly what Team Liquid needed, but the kill did not go over to Golden Glue. He's recalling anyway, will not actually net much of an edge, aside from having the flash advantage on Pyrian, but they will need to punish that before level 6 if they want to come back.
Going for a lot of landing items here as well, and we'll be TPing back to the lane. Darksteel, Doran's Ring, and the crafting potion that he started with, so a huge amount of investment into surviving this lane and getting ahead. Already going to be slightly ahead on CS, as Pyrian cannot teleport to this lane, but Lyra, he's just taking over the jungle. Now Golden Glue can't stop this on his own, and Lyra already out, taking away that big raptor and the plants, and now spotting Rainova as well on the Krugs.
Gonna try and steal it with the spear.
Towards it, Smite from Rainova is good. Lyra tags the Drake on the way out, though. Oh, getting slowed by Ocean Drake. Dangerous, but he'll be fine. No one there to chase him. Good charm for Pyrian onto Golden Glue, but Galio Did use the W early for a bit of damage reduction, so not too much damage there being dealt.
Yeah, and we also got to touch back in on this bottom lane. There's been so much story with the junglers hard farming, though. Caitlyn and Karma should be shoving in the Xayah Rakan duo, and in fact, Piglet got pretty fed early on in the game. So they got to prevent that happening, and no flash on Pyrion.
Maybe a little bit. Pyrion has to be careful. Lyra's behind him. Golden Glue lining up the taunt. Does have flash, but he doesn't quite connect with it. Lyra already taking too much damage. They're a little divided on the targets as TP is coming in for EnVy. Pyrion, he's low, but Lyra is trying to just kite him out. Pyrion needs to try and get Golden Glue away. He flashes forward, looks for the plate, does get the kill, and now Rainova's going to tag Lyra. There's a second TL in the mid lane on it. Getting chased in by Matt, looks for the W and gets the flash out of Apollo. So much action in this game.
Ooh, and that mid lane fight needs to be the thing that propels Team Liquid's momentum forward, because Golden Glue saved his flash for so long. They knew they had the flash advantage. They knew they had to come back to that lane before level 6, and they did. They did both of those things. And then Golden Glue doesn't flash the initial taunt. You thought maybe that was the moment where the fight turns around, but patience pays off with a late double kill.
Looking good there. Seraph actually burnt his ultimate in topside. Lola looking to harass there, but we'll watch this play again. Very extended 2v2.
Yeah, right there, I thought Golden Glue would flash to get the taunt, but they just burst Lyra down and essentially take him out of the fight. And then up top, Seraph gets his teleport interrupted by Lorlo. Otherwise, that could have been the turner. Then Golden Glue uses flash to re-engage. Rainover lands the axe, and they pick up the 2-0.
Well, nice stuff there. So Lola, you can see, not quite there with the CS lead, but has forced Seraph away. Did use his ultimate, so it looks like Lolo been training pretty effectively. Seraph, though, going to go back, get himself those early ninja tabi, and actually just stock up on consumables, trying to stop the lane bully potential of Cannon for as long as possible.
Yeah, there's actually a big fight in the top lane between those two guys. We're going to replay that just to see how close it actually was. Seraph, remember, this kind of started with the teleport cancel, because that started them very aggressively trading. Seraph had already burned ultimate. Kind of predicted Lorlo trying to flash for the execute right there, and ends up both of them having to flash.
Really nice little synchronization of the summoner spells. That Seraph does manage to escape with his life as a result. Matt roaming up, getting some vision defensively, covering the entrance towards the Wraith and red buff. Rainova's actually on that right now, so should be able to clear that out quickly. We'll see where he wants to go next. Again, it's seen a lot of action between Lyra and Rainova early, as Pyrion does get a nice charm once a Golden Glue and chunk him down, but pretty hard to get through the Corruption Potion Dark Seal, and Galio himself is already so naturally tanky.
Yeah, and Galio works great with Olaf as well. So they have an in-build champion synergy in a couple of different ways. They can throw it on Rakan, or they can throw it on Rainova's Olaf, and they also have a different pilot for the Galio this time. In mid lane, Galio is much more able to get in range to use the ultimate in a lot of situations, because you're not caught often split pushing scenarios. So there's more reason I kind of like this Team Liquid team composition over EnVy's. It's just a matter of them executing.
Yeah, gonna have to watch kind of how top lane goes for me. I think TL's bottom lane struggling a bit on CS, but Karma Caitlyn is such a good 2v2 lane that can't really blame them too much. And Piglet and Matt have been fighting to keep the lane not quite pushed up against the turret as it was in game 1. So I think Lolo, again, even on CS, doesn't quite get the solo kill he might have looked for. His Justice Punch into the taunt there onto Pyrion once more. Rainova might just chase in, but Lyra ready with the counter gang.
We're getting a lot of harass here, not picking up a CS lead as of yet, though. Misses the cannon even.
Always feels bad. But probably might be up to something else. Actually can cover Rainova on this invade.
They're thinking about doing a turret dive. If Olaf goes in turret and then gets the damage reduction from the Galio, it could be huge.
Sheriff's looking for something else, but Matt goes in. That's the ulti target Apollo. He's going to get CC'd forever. Piglet able to blow up Apollo.
Well, they use the other delivery system right there. Matt's Rakan making a big play in the bottom side. They want this first turret.
So they are going to try and get it. One more minion left. Oh, there's the wave. Perfect time
to be able to.
That. Yeah, Hakalo is going to root down who he can, but nothing else he can really do. He pokes him for one last time, and first turret and that big bit of gold goes to Team Liquid.
Yet they had the push in the mid lane, which is kind of what enabled that roam to happen. They had been getting slammed in CS, and that's kind of what you expect with the Caitlyn Karma against this Xayah Rakan duo. But they do what you need to do against it. It's always pushed up. Send the family house at him and just get the kills.
I kind of like that from TL. Again, kind of showing that together. They can be very strong, and having more than one way to go in really helps here.
Yeah, and Matt really not taking any damage with there, and then the kill was so clean, the turret does swap over to Rainover, but really doesn't do that much, so man, Apollo just disappeared.
Yep. Not a good magic trick, but certainly a good-looking one. Apollo does suffer a death there. Shouldn't be too upset about it, though. Still, again, pretty far ahead in CS. And looks like TL are actually going to stick their duo back into that bottom lane. So I guess they don't really have another place to try and siege after taking down the other turret, and the Ocean Drake's not nearly as enticing as the Infernal was last game.
Yeah, and they also don't want to put Lorlo in a situation where he gets denied farm, because it's very important for a split-pushing Kennen to not fall behind the CS curve, since his ability to 1v1 is pretty much his only worth as a champion in these games, and you have to play around that so well.
So far, so good for Liquid. Up about 1,300 gold, which is a nice early lead. Was Golden Glue going to roam in again, try and get some vision down. He and Rainover have actually been teaming up really well together. Golden Glue got all the mini raptors, Rainover gets the big one as he smites it away, and the synergy continues. And he said Olaf Galio a great combo when starting a fight, but they've been roaming together because, again, Galio can always push the waves, and Rainover feels confident to invade with Galio behind him.
Yeah, and he's landing a surprising number of Justice Punches, too. I mean, with the wind up on that spell and the fact that it dictates the direction, you do not expect Pyrion to be getting hit by so many. But that is keeping the lane fairly shoved, since Pyrion is often low, even though getting a lot of CS.
Rainover now going to clean this ward up, but Lyra's here. Matt's actually found the charm and the knock-up onto Hakuo, but Nicola is going to try and move into that 2v2 situation. Golden Glue does have his ultimate, so TL might fancy a fight, but a long-range TP from Seraph.
These were big in game one. Can they make a play off here? This time it's mashed by Lorlo before EnVy can make a play.
And he's much earlier because the wards are so much better. Golden Glue is looking for the angle. There's the ultimate going to start it off. Rainover already takes down Hakuo, but he's low himself. He's going to back away from the fight. Ace in the hole. He's going to get blocked by Matt, but Seraph's going to try and take a few more down, but he has been CC'd forever. Golden Glue just peeling for everyone as Lyra does find a snipe onto Matt. Seraph is going to flash his way out of there. There's Apollo trying to find Rainover, but only 1-for-1.
Looked like it could have been a lot worse for EnVy. Lyra lands some spears around the edge, and Seraph actually makes a large impact when he flies in there with the teleport. So EnVy keeps it close. That was nearly disastrous.
Yep, burning all their summoners that got out from under the knock-up of Galio ulti. Probably not able to quite find the most desirable target. We'll have a watch at this fight again.
Yeah, I mean, Lyra has to run away with the blast going while Seraph's not there, so it's a temporary 5v4. The Galio doesn't quite get in as far as they would want to, so Golden Glue doesn't really hit anyone this fight, aside from Renekton when he jumps in, but Seraph able to just kind of flash around the backside since Apollo got Rainover so low.
And again, still a big CS lead there for Apollo, who's plenty strong despite needing to scale up a bit better on the Caitlyn. And looks like Drake is going to get started here for EnVy. Ocean Drake looking to go uncontested as TL actually pressuring the top side of the map. Lyra and Hakuo able to open up space here and feel safe to take this objective.
Yeah, and it looks like they're sticking with Ocean early on in this game. Second one coming up after that.
Bad day.
But they see the Ocean. That means they know there's no jungler near. Team Liquid quickly pushing top.
Yeah, it looks like Apollo's solo defending right now. Seraph's about to join up here, but just going to deter them, and it actually is enough to move Liquid out of the way. Kind of fun to see, though. I did actually see this earlier today as we have a slight lull in the game, but I believe Darshan's Galio had this item before. We haven't seen it just yet, I think, until today.
Yeah.
At least in NA. Abyssal Mask.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, never mind. Matt's going to start things off. Lyra, he's already dead to Piglet. Going to try and charm somebody else up, but not going to find it just yet. Instead, they'll look for this turret.
Yeah, just that's the ability of the Rakan against Nidalee as well. There's not much Lyra can do unless he's able to flash the initial jump on, because he's not going to build very tanky on Nidalee, and is falling behind Rainover's Olaf. So Rainover really exerting as well in this game, but Matt making plays as well. Yeah, the Abyssal Mask, new icon.
Yep, new name.
Formerly the Abyssal Scepter, but is a tank item. So the confusion that would arise, since it used to be an AP item for almost all of its existence and then randomly turned into a tank item. Glad the icon got updated, but I think it's a great item for Galio. It increases your magic damage by a percentage. Galio does a bunch of magic damage, but doesn't necessarily want to go with an ability power build, so gets the tankiness, gets that extra damage boost, and it's going to be everything he needs against Ahri.
Yep, looking good so far. One of the nice things, you can build lots of MR against Ahri, which is Struggle Street for the mage. She has to get a lot of items to try and take you down. Looking around the rest of the map, the Rift Herald was started but not completed. by TL. EnVy still with Apollo in the top side, so he does have pressure, and there is presence for EnVy in the area as well. It's off to a good start though. Piglet again with 2 kills. Has himself the Inscreva building in towards that Hurricane. And Lolo is the one that's even on farm, which is probably the best news for TL. Again, always track the cannon in these sort of games. Lolo gonna have that first spike up soon with a Blade of the Ruin King. Even though Seraph does have a Black Cleaver, Lolo's not found any struggles. And I think a lot of it is just Lyra has not had the same early game impact that he often would have in a game like this.
You have almost no pressure on the Nidalee when compared to what Reignover's been doing. Calling out Piglet, though, he's abysmally far behind on CS. Despite having the 2 kills, he's actually still down in gold to Apollo. Down about 50 CS at 15 minutes here. With most of the gold advantage actually coming from Reignover and Golden Glue this game, so gotta watch if Reignover can hold that lead.
Yeah, looks like the first gank is going to start here. Actually, Pyrian's roaming down as well. They might go all in for the dive. Lyra going to tank it. There's the TP in Lolo, who's just going to get aggressed on him. Pyrian's able to take him down. TP cancelled. That was Golden Glue trying to join in, but TL not fast enough with either of their globals.
Yeah, should be able to get that top lane turret after all is said and done, though. But a quick preview of the way they want to deal with Lorlo's cannon. You can do that at 16 minutes when Baron isn't an objective yet, but that becomes much more difficult to send 3 people down there later in the game.
Yeah, top turret is going to go down. Also, 2-0 up in turrets actually for TL. Still holding strong at 2,000 gold ahead. EnVy just kind of moving back, trying to defend their next tier 2 turrets, and TL are doing a much better job this game of just being proactive. It's one of our biggest criticisms of Team Liquid in general, is that it feels like a lot of the time they don't do anything. This time they pick themselves some really good tools to try and get stuff done, and they're also executing on those plans, which is kind of the important part of the equation.
Yeah, and you can really see Reignover's in his comfort zone when he's on Olaf.
That's my! All right, well, didn't need all that CC, but
why not?
Sure.
I mean, why not all that CC?
Just make sure he dies.
Yeah, had his flash up. No way he's having a chance to use it with the way they chain that. Now this could be a 3rd turret.
We're going to even ulti just to make sure he did more damage. Golden Glue going to siege them off with the taunt. One of the great uses you have for any Galio, except the quad, I guess. Any Galio getting farm, and there's 3 outer turrets already down for TL. Seraph did get the bottom side outer turret for EnVy, but Team Liquid have the entire map open to them now.
Yeah, and Golden Glue showing up early on in this game. It's just a matter of if Team Liquid can continue this lead. They've kept Peglet in the game despite them having the tough laning phase. Reignover has pretty much been everywhere early on the Olaf. But the thing with that pick is it does need to transition in the late game if they can't snowball an early lead. It's helped a lot with the Galio ultimate being able to come in with the hero's entrance and given that damage reduction when he jumps in, but it's still a pick that falls off.
Yeah, and I think when we look to the members of TL that are going to take over this game and really seal the victory at the end of the day, we look at Lolo on the cannon, we look at Piglet on the Xayah, and short Lolo is behind still, especially as Apollo is now finally picked up that very expensive first major item in Infinity Edge. And we saw last game, I mean, Piglet was doing significantly better last game than this game, and he still couldn't come through with a carry at the end. So TL, I feel like they've built in some insurance here in this comp, but at the end of the day, the people with the carries need to do the carrying.
Exactly, and Lyra needs to stop getting caught out of position.
Also
that's
true.
Been the catalyst for a lot of Team Liquid's positive plays here with Ocean Drake coming up in 30 seconds. Remember, it's still just a 2,300 gold game despite the 2-turret advantage, so farm still kind of being in the favor of EnVy. And I think Team Liquid set up a lot better for these team fights. Even if the cannon just goes in straight in team fights as a second marksman, since they have those 2 really hard-to-kill members in Galio and Olaf.
Well, Lolo applying topside pressure with the teleport ready, so looks like all the setup is here for Team Liquid, and this next Drake, Lolo getting chased down. Lyra is ganking the top lane with the Drake spawning, so that's pretty much a concession of that objective.
Yep, no Drake for them. They decide they do not care about the second Ocean Drake, and we're really hoping to get Seraph a small edge and maybe push him into the turret, but even just going up there to throw a spear is all they get for the Drake. Maybe they turn for Rift Herald now, but they're not even going for that. They absolutely could have.
Yep.
They decide not to.
Only 20 seconds left, and Fletcher the Rift Herald will not be seen today by the looks of things. It's about to despawn. Nope, I'm bad at math.
Yeah,
right.
it despawns at 45 if it's not in combat. It despawns at 1955 if it is in combat.
So I did have it right. I just didn't have a little mark on there.
You nailed it.
I've been tricked. I've been had. All right, Golden Glue pressuring Pyrian down towards the bottom lane. Again, this Ahri, I mean, got good items, got good farm, but so much more impact early on for this Galio. Golden Glue able to get around the map at pretty much whenever he wants, especially once he has rank 3 and ulti, has rank 2 right now. And Empyrean's just kind of catching waves that Galio is pushing in. And that, again, same story here for TL in this early game. They're consistently saying, this is what we're doing, you have to rest. Whereas EnVy have always been very good at that.
Yeah, and it's also the fact that it's 150 magic resist Galio. You're just not going to have to do anything with it against Ahri. Careful clearing those wards, guys.
Very.
Galio.
Oh, hello, Matt. There's the knockup. And that's going to be absolutely dead Apollo as Golden Glue gets the dunk kill.
Yeah, I was going to say Galio cannot charge over walls, but Rakan definitely can. And then Galio can hop over the wall with his ultimate. So the fear of clearing wards and nice vision now there by TL.
And looks like going to try and line it up for some tier 2 turrets. Lyra chasing Golden Glue. Golden Glue is remarkably afraid, despite having 4 million magic resist.
And a huge shield.
Lyra with the red buff though, chasing them away. TL trying to set things up on this top lane. And looks like they'll stay mid and bot lane to try and push through that wave there. In fact, I think Golden Glue is going to go ahead and take down some of the bottom side camps. In fact, TL, it's been a pretty common element of their play, which might bite them here in this game, but even when they do find themselves kind of a little advantage or get something, they very rarely push heavily. I mean, this is a great pick, but yeah, they just got the kill.
Yeah, they don't really have a late enough level in the game to turn for a Baron. And they've already killed the outer tier turrets, so I think the hope was they just go into the jungle and get vision control. But yeah, you would like to have more because that play felt like such a nice setup and even a good payoff with the kill. But look at the gold, it's less than it was before that because EnVy was farming more.
Yep, there was in your jungle taking all of your camps. The Piglet going to clear away minions here in mid lane. Does have the Hurricane completed, so he's kind of moving from strength to strength. But Apollo looking for that static shiv. Almost completed. And again, EnVy just not feeling too much pressure here. I mean, if the gold lead was double this, or maybe a little bit more, I think TL would be in quite a commanding position. But as it is, this lead looked great at 10-15 minutes, but looks a lot less impressive now at 20.
Yep, we always say the later you get in the game, the less your absolute gold lead matters, since your percentage of gold lead will decrease. Empyrean smartly ults away, otherwise he was definitely dead, but that again lowers the amount of pressure that EnVy can have on the map.
Yeah, is nice there. Again, Lolo's still getting things done in the side lane. Does need a kind of a lot of gold to build 3, even 4 items, it feels like sometimes for Kennen to take over in the 1vx situations in a side lane. But he'll get there eventually, and I think Team Liquid are sort of playing with the pace of their comp. But certainly a team that after the loss in Game 1 are going to be wanting to take things very carefully because they have built themselves a lead here, which is nice for them, and they don't want to throw it away. The issue is when you always feel like that, if you don't move at the correct pace, you're not really doing everything you can with your lead.
Yeah, and hey, let me tell you, EnVy knows all about that.
Oh, yeah.
Because that happened to them in almost every match they played in the spring split. It hasn't happened to them as much in summer split, so they'd love to turn that around on Team Liquid here. Team Liquid as well started the first week 0-2 in matches, 0-4 in games. They've yet to actually win a game, so they really need to get something under their belt. And here they are still making those rotations over with the Galio. He's the big tank that they have and allows Lolo to split push, so their composition working quite well, actually.
Yeah, Lolo booking it though, not able to fight Seraph just yet. Kind of needs Hurricane and a Frozen Mallet probably to be able to kite Seraph endlessly down the lane. And Seraph is going Blade of the Ruined King. We've seen this quite a lot more on split pushes in the top side on more of these fighters, but Seraph in particular loves to be doing it side lane. So at some point, Seraph will buy tank items, I have faith, but yeah. Not just yet, at least. In fact, his Blade of the Ruined King is done, but so is Lolo's Phantom Dancer.
Yeah, so move speed and some damage reduction. Lolo knows it's going to be a close fight with Renekton for a lot of it. Otherwise, you'd probably see the Hurricane for faster shoving by the Kennen. But Phantom Dancer with the damage reduction is probably the right choice in this situation.
Well, what's happening now? Ocean Drake up in a minute 10. Team Liquid can continue to snowball these objectives. If this was last game, we would be fighting for another Inferno Drake. Instead, we are fighting for the third Ocean Drake. I suppose the game is trying to right all of the Drakes.
Yeah. Cool it off here in the Battle Theater.
It happened earlier
later on in the day.
All right, well, EnVy actually around the Baron side, so again, kind of first to the area as far as getting vision down. You can just kind of tell with the way the teams are playing, EnVy just are a bit more confident, a bit faster, and a bit more together. But TL have a plan, and they are sticking to it.
Yep, just follow Reignover around the map. Put
Here's
Golden
the
Glue
leader
in front of him, put Matt and Piglet next to him. When Matt sees a skill, go. initiate, have the Galio press the ult on top of him. Like, you can plan this thing really far in advance, and then it's a matter of going and executing it. But a lot of power picks here on the side of TL.
I'm curious to see kind of what EnVy look at as far as openings go. I mean, I think Ari will need a bit more farm, especially if he's trying to chunk out a Galio. Caitlyn is getting there, so Apollo's happy to just kind of let this one farm out, and even Seraph knows he can still challenge 1v1. So EnVy, I think they're also happy playing pretty patiently at this point, but should see them capitalize pretty heavily on mistakes if they find one. But Apollo might have made one. Does channel the taunt, but no catches there. Bit of damage with the Winds of War, but some Raptors being stolen away is about the best any team's going to get. As this fight starting again, Seraph once more moving in onto Lolo. He does have flash. Good stun there from Lolo. He's got to keep cutting it out, and Seraph says that's enough. Not going to chase.
Yeah, you can see the Blade of the Rune King is what he's trying to use to keep him close. Lorlo's trying to cut him back. Seraph will heal a lot with the Blade of the Rune King, which kind of equalizes this from the Renekton standpoint. Really close duels there in the bottom lane. If that does swing in either direction, that could actually turn this game over.
Pretty tense, and in fact, Seraph kind of winning effectively that last 1v1, at least enough to create space. And the EnVy do actually get the Ocean Drake for themselves, so Liquid again still holding such a nice little gold lead, but it doesn't feel like it means that much, and that's the tough thing. This is the team that's ahead. You should be pressing your lead, but that is definitely something that we're expecting Liquid to be learning as a team.
Yeah, but EnVy just did a really risky thing right there. They send everyone down to Drake at 26 minutes and have no vision over the Baron area against a team that has a lot of pick potential.
Really nice pick, gets the double chomp, plus the knock up there as Golden Yu rides in with the hero's entrance, but Matt chunks out there as Pyrion looks for the flank. Piglet does dodge it with the Feather Storm, but now EnVy with the TP to Seraph complete. He will not. He's actually going to walk back over to the Baron.
I'm a little surprised EnVy lived through that, because it looked like Apollo and Hakuo were caught completely in the quickness from Matt, but they did not have the requisite follow-up. Only 2 flashes had to be burned by EnVy, and they got out of it alive.
Well, EnVy again reacting well. He's not see them collapsing together so quickly, but TL just haven't quite found the setup just yet. I mean, it's all well and good when you're in laning phase and catching people with the Galio ulti, but in kind of these bigger open spaces, it does feel a bit tougher. And TL really just have to wait for their cooldowns again, reset up vision, get Lolo back into the side lane, trying to push. And again, I'm really looking for 3, maybe even more items for Lolo to get things going. It looks like Frozen Mount is going to be next, so he's kind of approaching that really big breaking point. And Golden Glue even still took his blue buff away from Lyra, who was trying to steal it. So little things are adding up here, but is that enough to parlay into a game then?
Yeah, just to walk through the Kennen versus Renekton matchup a little bit. If you get the Frozen Mallet, you expect to start winning then, because at that point, Seraph shouldn't be able to chase through because you're getting so many slows from Lorlo. And that's the type of discipline that's required with this Kennen pick. I mean, the potential power of this side lane Kennen is so great, and it's highly respected, especially in the LCK, where teams end up playing with a lot more discipline than they do over in North America. And people keep trying to throw this Kennen into their playstyles over here, but the games either aren't clean enough, or they're just, they're not clean enough in these situations. And the Kennen never has time to set up, and the teams don't have enough patience to let him abuse that 1v1 situation. Or you're in a situation here where Seraph's actually winning the 1v1 against him, in which case the pick doesn't really do much of anything, and you're then relying on the 4v4. Now he's got double buffs, though.
Yep, Seraph's trying to run out of the way, but Blade of the Rune King from Lolo could start something up. Good stun, you can see them chaining together. Ulti from Lolo is not in range, but Apollo does burn the heal.
Yeah, but level 16, going to be getting that turret, so starting to turn, even with just the double buffs.
Uh-oh, Pyrion, that's the face check.
Hey!
Yeah, Golden Glue's going to find him, knocks him up, and now Matt looks to chase, but Pyrion is going to Spirit Rush out of the way. Good charm actually onto Rakan, but now Rainova's going to have a turn. Ultimate's wearing off, though. The TL not with a second pick. In fact, still not with the turret yet either. Lolo needs a few more orders.
Looked like Matt didn't get off the CC chain on a Pyrion quite in time. Turret's still alive.
Well,
still counts.
Good news for EnVy. Gold not gifted over to TL just yet. And I have to start getting a little bit concerned for TL. I don't have like a tangible reason as to why things seem to be going badly. I can't tell you like an item breakpoint or a matchup or something historically about the teams, but I just have this feeling, and you get this sometimes with teams, where it's just like things look good, but they're not going as well as they could be. And you just feel like, especially if one little thing breaks, I just feel like the whole game might collapse. And That's a worry for TL, a team that, like you said, does need to string together at least one game win.
It could absolutely happen. I mean, one thing that we know about human beings as a species is we're great at pattern recognition. We don't necessarily know why we're great at pattern recognition, but when the pattern is Team Liquid loses, you expect it to happen again because it's happened so many times in a row so far early on in this day. So there's nothing particularly about this game that means it should break open, right? They still have the Galio, who's super huge. Piglet's actually building the right items this time, building up towards an Infinity Edge. Lorlo is starting to win that 1v1. It should actually be, you know, a couple minutes away from EnVy collapsing and Team Liquid actually taking over the game, but they still have to execute and do it right. Keep the waves pushed, do the vision denial, make the picks happen, and get the victory.
The time is now, though, for Lolo. He does have the Frozen Mallet. He's well equipped to try and take down the Crocodile. Golden Glue is shoving every single wave. He's got a Warmogs, actually. It's his third item, so he's very healthy, very tanky. And now a fight's going to break out again. Seraph actually able to start it off. Lolo does kite it out, but every little all-in's feeling a little too close for comfort.
Yeah, and he's not getting a consistent push lead. You got to be so careful in these ones. With the Frozen Mallet, especially if Lorlo gets the edge, he's able to close out on Seraph. And Knife said, there's Golden Glue on the flank.
Another big play starting off. The Golden Glue can't find the angle for the taunt. Ace in the hole, tanked by Piglet, actually. As Matt looks like he stepped on a trap. There's another bit of poke onto Piglet by Hakuo. Howard Kamakyu doing a decent amount of work. Redemption going to try and reset it, as I think TL making some sort of play. Once again, hoping someone walks too close to this bush. Oh, there's actually Lyra. He's going to get caught down, knocked up by the Galio. He's going to get assassinated again by the dive in. And Hakuo, who's going to go down next to Polly. Now torn to death. 3 kills for Team Liquid. That's the opening they're looking for.
In exactly the same spot as before as well. They run the same play with the same combo. Pyrian trying to turn around.
He's trying to be very heroic, but he dashes back around. Golden Glue's going to walk him all the way back to his turret and zone him off. And now Lolo and Seraph are diving.
Yeah, meanwhile, Rainover's just pinging assist me at the Baron over and over again. He's like, guys, please, we can win this.
Well, Golden Glue's going to look to solo down Pyrian. Doesn't have his flash, so can't follow, but Pyrian does burn the summoner spell. Baron, though, is over to Team Liquid, and Lolo is already positioned for this turret, so he might keep going and try and knock down the base early.
Gotta be a little careful, people basing again, but just watch this. Not where you want to be. Lyra has been caught out over and over again. Galio chains with the Rakan very well, then still flashes in to help secure Apollo. 3 kills. So easily picked up there by Team.
All right, well, again, the moments were kind of there for TL, and they've finally strung them all together. I mean, it reflects in the gold lead. Baron buff up now. They have almost 7,000 gold ahead. And the league was significantly smaller than that. Maybe more than double the lead they just have here. And now they get the clouds right. They've got pressure from Lolo that he can consistently shove down the lanes and pressure them. And at some point, soon, probably within the duration of this Baron buff, EnVy are going to lose a multitude of turrets.
Yeah, even just grouping up and shoving down EnVy in the mid lane as 4 people with the cannon off in the side lane should be enough. Golden Glue just needs to get in front of the turret. He's so tanky right now on the Galio. Seems like all they would need to do.
Able to 1-3-1 very effectively. Also, ult range at rank 3 is gigantic, so he should be able to get Rainover from where he is right now or thereabouts. So he's going to get the top lane pushing. Lolo, of course, in bottom side as always. And now actually forcing Seraph's ult. He just get the Blade of the Ruin King proc down. No stuns landing in, but you can see already Seraph is just struggling to do anything 1v1. And now he's forcing Lyra to come down and help him, but that has opened up the map even more for Team Liquid.
Yeah, and you can really see EnVy unable to do much other than hope the Team Liquid makes a mistake. They picked all those comfort picks for him, but really didn't make a cohesive team composition and trying to hold desperately.
Right, finally bites the pat, looks for the play again. That one was a little short, but they'll get the turret regardless. So hey, cooldown's burnt for a greater purpose. TL still not done, looking down mid. So they're going to play it a little safer.
They're trying to do a full 1-3-1 here, which is actually very dangerous because that means the 3 people in mid lane often get picked off in these situations, but playing far enough back that shouldn't happen. And now they move Rainover down bottom. Meanwhile, Galio's up top.
Galio is going to be the main person getting things done here. Lola getting chased, stunned up by Seraph. Seraph wants to chase. Hakuo there as well. Actually going to keep going forward. Lola, who's going to get rooted? No, he flashes out at the last second. TL still assaulting his turrets. Should be a little careful. And Matt does not have his ultimate. Well, Galio does have his to fight on if an actual fight was to break out. And Lola will heal back slowly as he life steals from the wave. So TL don't need to relent for about 50 more seconds while they still have the Baron. In fact, Golden Glue with the Stone Flare is actually going to come back to it and just knock it down.
Yeah, gets even more resistances. First turret falls. And still trying to work on the other side. Just slow playing this one with the 1-3-1.
Very slow from TL, but if it's effective, may it not matter. They just need to close the game out. Pyrion and Golden Glue out there, some friends. Hakuo gonna start it off. Roots on the Galio, taunt lands in, lots of damage reduction. And now Lolo trying to 1v2 actually Lyra and Seraph. The Galio once he gets cancelled. Is that even possible? I don't know, but Golden Glue is going to start the fight and so might have done it himself with the quickness. He's going to charm up a couple. Lolo does go down, but they get Pyrion as a result and the second inhibitor. Actually, they're first. They take down top and now Rainover. Rooted up by Hakuo, but Piglet firing away. So many bolts, so many feathers. Golden Glue now unstoppable as he takes down Seraph, and TL might have enough to push this game over the edge to number 3. Lyra getting shredded by Piglet and Team Liquid. They can feel it. They can feel the first game win of the season.
And boy, did they need it, especially if they can move it towards a third game victory against EnVy to get that match win. But they're repelled for now. Still, everything is looking up in this game.
Of the split, of course, not of the season. The season's been all year long, but certainly of the summer. Team Liquid, I mean, if we talk about the total year, had so many promising beginnings, I feel like, at the start of 2017. We're here at a very awkward spot to start the summer, but fortunes may have finally turned, and Golden Glue, it's a little thing, it probably barely matters, but I like that it's a splash of confidence. He's got him a drive, because why not?
Yep, he's got his Dark Seal sitting at 10 stacks, had all the other items completed, may as well converted at this point of the game, because you saw that last fight up in the top lane. I promise you, he is taking damage, we think.
Technically.
Early on here, and then it very slowly goes down. That's the 80 carry in the mid lane are beating on him at this point. I mean, Galio scales to an absurd tank later in the game. It allows the rest of the team to walk over and assist him with this inhibitor kill as well as killing off Fury.
You could cancel it ultimate. It's kind of cool. Gives them the damage reduction. Well, unfortunately still dies, but Golden Glue sticks around to have the rest of the fight. And now Team Liquid, it's a gaping hole in EnVy's base in the top side, so of course they're going to go ahead and push bottom. Elder Dragon's also up in a minute 35 if we need it, and I think at the pace of the game we will likely get there. Unless EnVy have something to say about it. Rainova going to be the target. Ulti there from Galio. Ooh, onto a trap, but yep. Not worried at all. Tanking all that damage.
Yeah, and I mean, the item curves just aren't there for Apollo right now. He's still sitting on the static shift, doesn't even have the rapid fire cannon that he had in their 36-minute victory, but he had to go all the way to last push because he couldn't get the front line. Flank though.
Flank from Sarah, but that's too much damage at the front lines. I don't think so. Piglet just shredding through everyone with the AoE. Lolo's even going to join the party, and Golden Glue moving forward, taunting everybody up. It's just too much CC. Liquid 2 kills cleanly. Now going to assault this bottom inhibitor.
You can see EnVy wanted to try the flank, but it just could not get through that gold lead.
Now bottom inhibitor should be going down here. Rainover's already working on the next one. TL going to do everything by the book to close out this game.
And make sure they get the third inhibitor. There's long death timers. I mean, there's cannon minions on the Nexus turrets. They should just push up and finish it, but they are taking their time.
Yep, certainly again. You can understand the reservation here as they push in for what could be the last push of game number 2.
I think they're backing away.
Yeah, I mean, again, objectives are spawning. Like,
yep.
Just be safe. If you throw this game away, that's so bad for your mentality. So TL, they can conserve some mental energy, gonna make sure they can slowly walk towards the end of this game with as many advantages as they need.
Yeah, and 10 minutes after this Elder Draken, another one spawns.
Yeah.
So they might want to wait for that too. They have this game in the bag if they don't mess up.
And that's the fear.
Yeah, it is actually the fear. They should do Elder Drake here. Run over to Baron. I guess after the base should be fine. Watch this fight one more time. Golden Glue with the charm, and you can see Piglet actually popped his ultimate, I'd say, way early. But it doesn't matter because Rainover was such a force in the middle of that fight. Lorlo chains his stun with the Galio taunt. It's been just, this mid lane Galio has had such a presence in this game. Stopping EnVy from engaging in any sort of team fights. And Lyra's really been such a non-factor on that mid lane.
Yep, landing phases look good. His synergy with Rainover's looked excellent all game long, and now it's time to do one of the simplest Barons TL will likely ever do. Elder Dragon makes this pretty trivial. Empyrean is going to try and sneak in for something. He's getting aggressed on by Galio, who now does a decent amount of damage with help from the Elder Dragon burn. Baron goes down, and it's time to walk some minion wave towards the Nexus turrets. Just strut in, just like the Galio.
Walk it home. 1-3-1, get 6 Baron super minions in at the same time.
Yep, Golden Glue's like, yep, I'm on the plan. Time to Baron up the supers. He's going to get this wave going. No one's up the top side right now, but might just need 2 waves. I'm actually didn't want to wait for the mid wave, it looked like. So going to the in hit, they're still got about halfway done. Golden Glue going to zone them all out. And they just don't do damage at all. Lolo actually may be caught, but no, there's the stun coming in. Good defensive ultimate and pick that out. Stumbles, he takes one down. Lolo gonna get the next kill. Golden Glue ultis on the spot just to make sure everyone's safe. And that's 3 members of EnVy Jet already gonna dive into the Nexus as Pickle goes crazy trying to take down Apollo. But the Nexus is open and TL will force game number 3.
Their first win of the summer split in games so far. Very strong draft and team composition, throwing Golden Glue onto that tank in the mid lane, getting Rainover back onto Olaf. One of his classic comfort picks, and it is oh so successful.
20 Madrai stacks, 0 deaths, a whole host of, in fact, missed 1 participation that whole game at 5-0 and 12 of the 18 kills TL picked up that game. You see the big smile on his face at the end of it. That was the game Golden Glue needed.
Yeah, Golden Glue wears his emotions on his face for sure, whether he's winning or losing. So you can definitely see how good that win feels for Team Liquid. You know how optimistic this team can be. I mean, just listening to Matt before that game saying we're just doing a lot of changes and it takes a really long time. So eventually we're going to start winning. And you could tell he was totally bought in and believed all of that. So that's the type of attitude you need when you are losing so much. And when you've had such a struggle, being in the promotion tournament, opening up with a bunch of losses, and even losing the first game against EnVy to bounce back in a big way, shows a lot.
Certainly does show a lot. But for a closer look at that TL win, let's send it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you, Pastry. And we see TL now coming in with their first series win of the, I should say match
game win.
Series win, game win. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Game win of the split as they are playing a best-of-3 match. Now we are going to the 3rd game. Seems to be the happening thing here, week 2, day 2. What are you guys feeling as we came into this? Picks and bans obviously seem to be a bit shored up there for TL.
I think we instantly saw that we were put in our place a little bit where we said, I don't know if there's a pick that really helps out Team Liquid too much. I think the big answer was the Galio mid here.
Yeah.
They didn't take it early and flex it or anything like that. They were securing their bot lane first. They also get the Kennen early on top side, and then they take the Galio a little bit later on. And I think that this is actually great for them just because it's such a simple champion to play. You literally push the lane with it and then go roam and make side lane plays.
What are you saying?
I'm saying then you build tank, and it's great. It's an awesome champion. Can go up and help the Kennen, can go help the Xayah Rakan lane, maybe even win some 2v2s with no Olaf mid. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Like, I think that's really big because he's really good in skirmishes when you have a jungler that does have that consistent damage like the Olaf, which we saw them win another 2v2 versus Pyrian and Lyra. But also, when you have an AD carry that was playing like Piglet in the previous game, you can just throw him in a tank, throw him a big tank, and if they have it from the mid lane, then that's fine as well. But like you said, it's a very stable pick from the mid lane where you really shouldn't be losing almost any lane as Galio because you constantly just shove it up. And like you said, pretty easy.
With that stable pick from the lane, they also made sure they gave a little bit more of the resources there as well, making sure Pyrian went down in the early part of the game. We have those
Also, no
replays to
Talia
start
for him
things
either.
off.
Ban
Yeah,
that away.
also as that. So pulling up Pyrian's early deaths, you can see how much focus they really wanted to give Golden Glue and just mid lane.
It's such a great mid lane pick because you almost always have priority with how well it pushes, has a lot of gank setup with the amount of CC and the Justice Punch and the taunt. So if it's an immobile mage mid, which Ari is, 3-6, you can kind of get CC'd up there. Misses the initial taunt there, but they already won that initial 2v2, so they are stronger at this point. Tanks the spear, gets in range of that. Gets the cleanup kill onto Pyrian, and Rainover feels healthy enough to re-engage now. And once your tank is super strong in the Olaf, then your Galio can start ulting on top of him and brute forcing plays. They actually did that bottom, which is exactly what you want to see TL actually playing with their lead as opposed to just kind of getting one.
I completely agree. Because one of the things that back in the split in spring, when they had Link as the sub, it was kind of Link just had better macro play, and then Golden Glue was kind of the better laner. If you give him something like Galio and he's short up a little bit of that macro play where he can go to side lanes and play these champions that run teleport, that have a global ultimate like Galio, then that might help them and kind of be a crutch that they can lean on there, because we've been talking about this Galio pick a lot, and we think it's actually pretty much perfect for Golden Glue in the mid lane.
Now, the way he plays, it seems like he can kind of go with his own ideas if he needs to for a moment. The team will then be there to back him up. But also, as we said, just working those teleports and able to make these side plays work. Replay as we move on to 31 minutes in to get the game moving. 3-0, and then in the mid, I should say, and then the Baron coming in for TL here. And they were waiting. They had been setting this up, and the vision paid off.
It's something that TL had been struggling to do, is make these coordinated late team fights. EnVy did get a little aggressive, walking up more than they maybe needed to, because they had just cleared that vision out there. The Baron was not under a ton of threat quite yet. But either way, TL finds the opening, capitalizes on it. And then the biggest thing is relatively mistake-free while looking for openings, which is exactly what you want to see. The Kennen was split pushing down that whole time, never really under threat as well. So Lorlo had another good game. You see that huge damage number that you tend to get when you're split pushing Kennen, constantly harassing a Renekton.
Yeah, exactly. And like you were saying, like once you get ahead with a big tank, the tank can make these mistakes, face check, do whatever, and they're completely fine. And something that stood out to me like this whole series so far is that Lyra is not getting almost anything done in the early game. Both the early games have gone the other way, and he's had bad skirmishes alongside Pyrion, which have given advantages over to TL's mid and their jungler right from the get-go for the most part.
That's one of the things even last split when people were saying, oh, it's not a good meta for Reignover, he's struggling in the games.
Yeah.
In scrims and just even generally, you still heard a lot of junglers praising him. Dardoch's still saying he's one of the best in the league, and even though TL as a team was struggling and it looked like, oh, Reignover doesn't know how to play Kha'Zix and Rengar well, all this stuff when it's these damage-oriented builds, at the very least, people still were always complimenting his pathing. So it could be a little situation here where Lyra is struggling to find some of the advantages like cerebrally that he tends to get against some of the other junglers, and Reignover's kind of keeping pace with him.
Reignover trying to show that a little bit of that is back, picking up player of the game for himself on this one. Strong throughout. The Olaf was really able to set up a lot of the plays. We saw it there in mid, giving Pyrion a hell of a time.
Strong early game jungler. He gets the early game leads, and then you have an excellent support to back him up with the Galio as well as the Rakan. Sometimes Olaf struggles with initiation, but they have some extra coming in with that support pick.
Exactly. Just run straight down at the back line and then have the Galio come up. But like you said, the Rakan was really good for Matt. Not like honestly, these games back and forth in terms of his performance on that champion, but this was one where he kind of came up clutch with some of those engages that they really needed. Mostly a compositional thing.
All right, well, the teams are 1-1, which means there is more league to be played. Meet us back here for Game 3 to see if Liquid or Team EnVy walk away with the win.
Don't go.
Love this from Reignover, though. Taunt in from Golden Glue already. There's the damage down. Pyron's going to be forced to flash dive. Is forthcoming. Reignover wants it. He's going to get it, and he picks up first blood. They're looking for something else, but Matt goes in. That's the ulti target of Apollo. He's going to get CC'd forever. Piglet having to blow up Apollo.
Yeah, and you can really see Reignover's in his comfort zone when he's on Olaf. Oh
that's
my.
A zero. All right, well, didn't need all that CC, but...
All right, I'm gonna get, come on.
I'm here.
I want to get.
Okay. Die. Back.
What engage?
I'm going. Run rolling. Yeah, die. Keep going. I'm going.
Piglet just shredding through everyone with the AoE. Oh, is even going to join the party. And Golden Glue moving forward, taunting everybody up. It's just too much CC. Liquid 2 kills cleanly